Hey guys, welcome to the first real episode of Stanny Boy Reviews. I decided that it was time to stop posting written reviews and to start doing live reviews. So this is the first real live review coming on the first day of 2022, so Happy New Year. I thought it was a good time to start switching things up, and a better way to do it than to start doing things from a live perspective. I've been posting written reviews for a little over a year now. It was something I started to do during the pandemic, during summer of 2020. And you're only allowed a certain written number of words on Instagram. And so I thought it would be a good idea to finally start utilizing A, my awesome iPhone, B,
my editing skills,
and C, my beautiful face. Anyway, here we are. The first movie I'm going to be reviewing is going to be Pet Sematary. I don't collect a lot of these Pop Funko things, but this is something I tracked down and purchased. Pet Sematary is probably, to this day, the scariest movie I've ever seen in my entire life. The actual cover of the movie scared the shit out of me, so much to where I wasn't even able to walk by the VHS cover in the video store. I should probably start at the beginning. I saw this movie at the age of 3.
What?
And it scarred me completely. The movie itself was very traumatizing, but it was the character of Zelda that really put a damper on my childhood. I suffered sleep paralysis. I suffered massive insomnia. I was in therapy from the ages of 3 to 9 years old. Specifically because of that character. Anyway, the movie is based off of a book written by Stephen King, aka the Master of Horror. Frightening book Stephen King has ever written. It's quite true. I've read a few Stephen King novels, and this is probably the scariest of any Stephen King novel that I've ever read. I've read it quite a few times. I've probably read it 9, maybe 10 times total. That's how much I like the book. The movie is probably my favorite Stephen King movie, and probably my favorite horror film ever made. It has its flaws, but to me it's a damn near perfect movie. It was written in 1983. The movie was released in 1989. Stephen King also wrote the screenplay. It is about a family, a doctor named Lewis Creed and his wife, Rachel Creed. They have a daughter named Ellie and an infant son named Gage, who is just about 2 years old. And they move from Chicago to a small town called Ludlow, Maine. Lewis has accepted a job offer there. He is now going to be working in a hospital. They move with their cat, Church. Across the street from them lives their elderly neighbor, Judd, who's like in his 80s. Their street is a very long stretch of highway that is occupied by very busy trucks. Big trucks that speed by at all hours of the day and night and run over all the animals. And there's a trail in their backyard that leads to a pet cemetery that has been created by the children of the town that dates all the way back to when Judd was a child. And it doesn't take very long before the family cat is run over in the road by one of these trucks. And Judd invites him to bury the cat beyond the pet cemetery, where there is an ancient Micmac burial ground. But he fails to tell him that once anything is buried there, it comes back from the dead. And we get a great backstory involving a war vet whose father is so grief-stricken that he has buried his son there, and his son has come back to life, and it's a nightmare. It all just goes downhill from there. Eventually, their little boy Gage meets his untimely death in the road by one of the trucks, and Lewis takes his little boy up into the Micmac burial ground and hopes for the best. Gage does not come back the same.
First I played with Dad, then Mommy came, and I played with Mommy. Will you play, Daddy?
Yeah, it's a really frightening story, and it's executed beautifully. Again, it has its flaws, and even now it's still scary. Going back to the whole Zelda storyline, Rachel, when she was a young girl, she had a sister named Zelda who was dying from spinal meningitis and was kept in the back bedroom by her parents and was basically left there to die. Rachel is left there alone with her. And she dies under Rachel's watch, and it traumatizes Rachel. Rachel has a hard time with death from there on out, and Rachel is unable to cope with death for the rest of the story, making it very difficult for her when Gage does die. Yeah, it's a really scary movie, you guys. It's really, really terrifying. There is a sequel that came out in 1992. Back when I smoked a lot of pot, I thought it was kind of spooky, but now that I'm sober, it's definitely not. I still really enjoy it. The music's good. Speaking of music, the music for this film, you guys, oh, it's so good. Elliot Goldenthal does the music for this film. And if you ever get the opportunity, get this soundtrack. I have it on vinyl. It is one of the most haunting, chilling soundtracks you could ever listen to. It's one of my most prized possessions, this vinyl. I have all the vinyls. I have the sequel on vinyl and I have the remake on vinyl, and they're just, if anything, all of the music for each film is so good. It's one of my most beloved films, and I will always stand behind Pet Sematary as one of the greatest horror films ever made, no matter what anybody says. One of my favorite facts about the book is that after it was written, Stephen King was so scared to publish it that he put it in a drawer because he was afraid for what he had written. It was his wife, Tabitha, that pulled it out, read it, and told him that he would be foolish not to publish it, no matter how disgusting it was. And it was after that incident that he decided to go forth with publishing it. I implore anybody that hasn't seen this movie to just watch it. Leave a comment and let me know what you think of it. I know that everybody who's watched it is affected in some way or another. We're all affected by the themes of this film in different ways. Everybody deals with grief. Everybody deals with what this movie displays. We've all had pets. We've all lost a pet. We've all lost a loved one. We're all affected by death in different ways. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. I give this movie a solid, well-deserved 10 out of 10. It's directed beautifully. The on-location settings are just excellent. The cast does really well. Dale Midkiff plays Lewis. A lot of people disagree with the casting of the daughter. She's played by twins, Blaze and Beau Berdal. She does okay. I mean, as an adult, she kind of gets on my nerves here and there, but whatever, kid actors. Nico Hughes plays Gage, and he's probably the standout of the film. Denise Crosby plays Rachel. Fred Gwynne, obviously, is Judd Crandall. He's amazing. For me, the best performance of the entire film is the man who plays Zelda, Andrew Hubetzek. They couldn't find a girl skinny enough to play Zelda. If you haven't watched the documentary Unearthed and Untold, The Making of Pet Sematary, I also urge everybody to watch that because it goes in depth. It tells you everything, the nooks and crannies of what you need to know and what you might not know about this movie. And man, I just can't say anything bad about it when it comes down to it. Eventually, I'll get around to reviewing the sequel and the remake because I love both of those films as well. Nothing will beat the original in my eyes. If you haven't read the book, man, read the book. The book is, it's gold, man. It's gold. There's a lot that they left out in the movie, but the movie is still pretty faithful. Yeah, man. 10 out of 10 for Pet Sematary. Let me know what you think. If you like this review, if you like what you see, feel free to leave a comment. Also, subscribe. I'm sure there's a button for it. We'll get around to all this. This is my first video, so do what you will with sharing. Yeah, guys.
Take care for now.